a little history of our family. Jane inspired me to help do the ancestry. She started it.
Mike started it.
And Mike started.
He started
okay.
it.
Well, when I think our family has such a rich heritage that I had no idea about. And sometimes I get real emotional when I think about it. Our great-great-grandfather, Arthur Cash, lay on the battlefield at Gettysburg, wounded. He was left there. Then he was taken prisoner and managed to get back home. He was 50 years old when he joined the Confederacy. He was wounded and was discharged, came home, stayed 1 year, and went back. William Ezell did the same thing. And I don't know how many of you know who Martin is. Do you?
I went to his grave one time.
Okay.
I don't know too much about it.
Well, we are all descended from Martin on both sides. On Grandpa's side, Martin had 10 children, and we're descended on Grandpa's side from Jane Martin, and on Granny's side from Jeremiah Martin. And Martin is so well known, even though I didn't know anything about him. But there's a book that I have copies of back there that is 758 pages long of his descendants, which includes us. Just for the fun of it, last night I looked on Ancestry, and there are 803,366 people researching Martin. So that's how many descendants he has. I have gone to, I don't even know how many cemeteries, but I waded through a swamp on January 31st in the freezing weather to get to the Williams Cemetery. If you have never been to New Pleasant, you just have to go. About 50 or 60 of our ancestors are buried there. The Scruggs Cemetery, has anybody ever been to that one? It is fascinating. The Robert Martin Cemetery, which is like 2 miles from the battleground as you go to Daphne. But I made a list for everybody to have one, and it gives you the directions and place of the cemeteries that you might want to visit. And if anybody wants access to my ancestry tree, if you'll give me your email address, I can give you access, and they'll send you an invitation. I have about, I think, close to 2,000 pictures on there. And I'd love for you to see them. But I did 3 or 4 notebooks on our family. I didn't know a lot about. I did not realize we have 2 Turner lines and 2 Ezell lines, and the Ezells run together. But anyway, I did one on the Cashes and the Ezells, the Martins, the Scruggs, and the Bonners. Now, the Bonners are my favorite family. And I've been to the old Bonner Cemetery, and if you want to go there, all the graves are from the Revolutionary War era. And then I did one on the Turners and the McKelveys, which I didn't know anything about the McKelveys, and there's not a lot of information on them. But I brought some Civil War records that you can look at if you're interested. A lot of other people brought pictures. Bill brought lots of letters. And we have, and Bill went to the trouble of fixing a system where we can put the tapes that we have of Granny Cash on a CD, right?
Yeah, put them in the computer, then you can go to a CD or
Burn it
flash
to a
drive.
CD, okay.
Whatever.
Also, I really had a stroke of luck. About 3 weeks ago, I had gone to Buck Creek to take pictures of the graves. And I had been looking for the old Ezell Cemetery where 6 people are buried. And there were 2 men that were working in the cemetery. So I've learned to beg people for things and not be afraid to go up to people and say, can you help me find this? And I've had some adventures. But I asked these 2 men, did they know where it was? And they said no, but we know somebody that does. And they called David Blanton, who has a lighting company in Chesnee. He came right out, and the first thing he said to me is, do you know where the old Ezell house is? And I said, no. He said, well, it's right out Buck Creek Road, and I own it. I didn't know the house existed. J.J.C. Ezell was born in that house. He was hidden from the federal people who were coming to arrest him for being in the Ku Klux Klan. And so this week I went to Peggy's house. She has all the original records from Buck Creek. Many of them are written in J.J.C. Ezell's hand because he was the church clerk. And then I finally, after a year and a half of looking, got to see the Ezell Cemetery, which is on that property. But I hope that I'm just so moved by the fact that everybody came, and Mike came from so far, and Bill came from so far. I made a trip to Chapel Hill Monday, right? And that's a long drive. But I hope that you'll take, if you have the time, that you'll take the time to look at the photo albums and all the things that other people brought. And I hope you'll get interested in our family's heritage, because I had no idea that we had such a rich heritage. So are we gonna eat dessert and then listen to the Granny Cash tapes, or?
If they wanted to, I mean, they have
Well,
desserts out.